Deconstructing Jedi Mind Tricks for Business. Thinking through this, there's one core tactic that you can actually use in personal life and professional life that can really impact everything from a place of openness and honesty, and that's active listening. Active listening is the technique of focusing a conversation on the other person versus yourself. And there's a really good example of this in Star Wars, and being a huge Star Wars fan, what better than a Star Wars analogy? It's a scene in episode 5 where Luke and Yoda meet for the first time. Luke meets Yoda, thinks he's this little green guy with big ears, and all of a sudden, it completely disregards him. And as a result, when Yoda realizes that he's the person he's actually looking for, Yoda doesn't want to listen to Luke. And so Obi-Wan has to come in as this third-party system and fix it. It's a really common scenario that actually happens in business. And if they had known me, I could have solved their problem for them using the techniques of active listening. So there's 4 steps in active listening. It's listening, repeating, confirming, and responding. And in the listening piece, there's the what, the how, and the why. Why, in looking at this specific situation, Yoda had 2 levels of why that he actually touched on. There's a level of why he's actually talking to Luke in the first place and explaining all the reasons why Luke would suck as a Jedi. And then there's the second portion of why he actually would suck as a Jedi. So looking at this, you then go into how something is actually being said. Luke is shouting at Yoda going, I want to be a Jedi. This is the most amazing thing. I've been looking for you. And Yoda's sitting there very calmly saying, nope, not going to happen. You don't know what you're doing. You're old. Like, you're never present with anything. And then there's the actually what's being said, which are Yoda's giving the objections, and Luke is saying, listen to me. And neither of them are actually listening to one another. So what happens at this point is Obi-Wan comes in and shows that he's actually listening to Yoda, who's the person that they're trying to get something from in this situation. And he does this by using some core techniques of active listening. And he uses specific keywords that Yoda's using and paraphrases certain aspects of the conversation. So he talks about Luke being too adventurous and exploratory and never being present. And Obi-Wan brings in the fact that, I was that way too once. And he confirms that he's actually listening to him. And he's correct before moving on to the next topic. And each time, Obi-Wan has another objection that he brings up that Luke shouldn't be a Jedi. And Obi-Wan kind of comes back at it. And it's this situation where there's always more that's coming. Everyone always has an objection, and there's always more objections that come. And then, at the point where that stops and that person doesn't have more to say, is when the conversation really begins. And this is actually what happens in this specific scenario in Star Wars, where Luke actually stops and shares what's going on in his head. And he goes, but wait, I've come so far. Like, I've learned so much. And what he does at this time is actually enroll Yoda in his mission and find common ground. He empathizes and makes the whole situation relatable. Slides are going a little bit slower. I'm talking fast. So he makes the situation relatable and actually connects with the whole mission of Luke, which is the hope of the Jedi and continuing the Jedi line and following the Force. And at this point as well, Luke actually shows that he doesn't actually have all the answers, that he actually needs Yoda's help for this to happen. And as a result, Yoda actually is enrolled in Luke's mission to become a Jedi. And the two of them connect, and everyone is happy. And Luke and Yoda, or Luke gets to become a Jedi. We're all saved. They fight Darth Vader, and we win. So in summary, the key techniques in active listening are to listen, repeat, confirm, and then respond. And also, in business tricks, you learn that the best trick in business is not actually a trick at all. Thank you.